Things this week that my mother did that really just pissed me off. This morning, I was on the phone with her, and I have an event this weekend that's like, for some reason, super confidential. They were like, you can't speak about whatever, it's super confidential. But I told my mom about it because I was like, oh, this is like a big event. Like, I'm so excited. And I normally am like, don't like events. So I'm like, I'm going to the event. Right? Tell my mother. She calls me this morning and is like, I think my friend Lynn is going to be there. I go, Mom, why the fuck would your friend Lynn be at this event? She goes, I don't know, but I'm going to ask her. And I go, Mom, it literally says in the email confidential and that I'll get in like a lot of fucking trouble if I talk about this event before it happens. But my mom was like, I just need to know if she's going to be there. I go, but you can't fucking ask because I'll get in trouble. I was like, I would have never told you if I knew you were going to be like this. Like, I would have never said shit to you. And she's like, fine, I won't ask, but keep like an eye out for a girl named Lynn. Like, make sure you're like looking for her. I'm like, Mom, can you just let me live my life? On Thursday, I was talking to my mom about my taxes and like how much I owe, and she immediately goes, he's a scammer. It's like literally losing her mind. Like, he's a scammer. Like, he's scamming you, Olivia. Like, I told you should have had your sister done this. And I was like, Mom, like, you need to fucking stop. Like, he's a good accountant. He's a good man, Savannah. I'm like, Mom, you know literally nothing about taxes. Like, leave me alone. Like, he's a hired accountant. Like, we're good. I'm doing good. Now I'm just like, I'm never speaking to her about taxes again because like I didn't need to be like yelled at like he's a scammer. Like, fuck off. Mother also called me this week and was like, hey, you get a lot of TikTok comments. And I'm like, I know. And she goes, well, you need to respond to every single one. And I go, okay, I genuinely like don't think it's possible for me to respond to every single one, but like I always try my best to respond. Like a few. And you guys know how I'm hiring my sister in a couple months, but like I just want to make sure everything's in order and like everything's good for when I'm ready to hire her. My mom also knows this, and my mom is like, you need to hire your sister immediately just for her to answer those TikTok comments. And I go, what the fuck? I was like, that is so fucking weird. If I just had Sissy sit here and answer my TikTok comments and that was her job. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. Mom was like, well, every single TikTok on your page, like comment should be answered. And I was like, who the fuck made you the chief of TikTok? Who the fuck made you like the boss of TikTok? And you're gonna tell me how to run my account? So if I'm responding to a comment, I want it to be me and not Sissy. So you guys are knowing it's me and not and why the fuck would I pay her to do that? There's just a couple things this week that my mother did that really got me going and pissed me off. So my mother is starved for attention ever since Sissy moved to New York. It's literally been 2 days. I get a text from my mom's best friend and she's like, hey, like I think we're gonna do a rebrand for your mom. First of all, I'm like, why the fuck does my mom need a rebrand? What's the rebrand? Are we like dyeing her hair? Like what's the vibe? Because this woman's not on social media, but like she thinks she's an influencer. It's a whole thing. I'm like, what the fuck could this rebrand possibly be? Then I get a text with this picture attached to it. She is Dina, and that's my mother on the fucking Reformer being a Pilates bitch. I said, she is are you fucking kidding me right now? The thing is, I know my mom is like dead serious in her head. Like, this is a good idea. Like, let's mention Livy's name as much as we can. I'm at dinner last night with all my best friends and my sister when I received that. And I'm like, look at it, Sissy. Mom is starved for attention. But we were literally dying. I was like, Mom, what the fuck? Last night, I was in like a silly, goofy mood with my best friend. And I was like, let's prank call my mom. I'm going to prank call her and pretend I got this like huge brand deal with one of her favorite brands. I'm like, let's record it because this could be like so funny for TikTok. No, my mom ruined the prank. I call her. I'm fake crying. I'm putting on a stellar performance. She starts screaming. She's like, who died? Who died? Like, Mom, what the fuck? I'm trying to tell you Chanel wants to take me to Paris. And she just keeps going, who died? What happened to your sister? I'm like, oh my God. Like I was just literally for 5 seconds. Oh my God, Mom, like I can't believe it. And she immediately is like yelling at me, what is wrong with Sissy? She's like, what's wrong with Sissy? What's wrong with Sissy? Who died? And I'm like, okay, you like fucking ruined the prank. And then she started crying. It's like, I literally was like, Chanel wants to take me to Paris. And she was like, what's wrong with Sissy? And I'm like, Sissy's fine. No one said a fucking word about Sissy, but we need to talk about her 24/7. Like, what the fuck? I'm trying to tell you. Imagine if Chanel really was taking me to Paris and that's how that bitch reacted. I'd be so fucking pissed. Okay, side note, I am an empath. I can't speak. You know what? You know what's really fucking annoying? My job is just to speak. Like, to come on here and speak to you guys. So when I'm stuttering, did I even say stuttering right? So when I'm stuttering like this, it makes my job very fucking hard. I think I've stuttered like 75 fucking times in this video, and it's really pissing me off. It's like, I literally have one job. One fucking job. Don't stutter, Livy. I also don't know why I'm so angry today. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just so cranky because like I have not been sleeping this past weekend at all. Anyways, stay gorgeous, stay blessed, and stay subscribed to my YouTube channel. I literally don't know where that came from, but I do want to upload full get readies with me on YouTube, like just a longer version of this, because like Why not? I'm gonna become a YouTube girly. I think it could be fun for us.
Am I wrong for not wanting to split expenses proportional to income? I live with my boyfriend in a flat he owns. Fully paid off, his father gave it to him. The whole building was built 6 years ago and it's in a very popular area. I pay my boyfriend half of the market rate rent, which we update every year by looking at how much the flats are being rented out for in the building complex, which is a lot of money, but I agreed to it. Other than this, we did everything else 50-50 in the past. I got a new job with significant pay increase, and now my boyfriend says we should start splitting expenses proportional to income because that's fair. Ew, drop him. What the heck? 50-50 is easy. That's like the right moral way to do things. Ew. He got a free flat, he got a free apartment, and he's asking what's fair or not. I told him I don't think it's fair that I should start paying for more just because I got a new job and nothing else changed. I already paid him rent, enough rent that would get me a same size flat a few streets away, so it's more than fair to him. He had some, in my opinion, very weak arguments and accused me of ripping him off. That's when I told him that under no circumstances we will split expenses proportional to income. Now that I've calmed down a bit, I'm worried whether I'm in the wrong, especially since my best friend told me that this is how they do it with her boyfriend too, and my boyfriend owning the flat is irrelevant here. So, am I the asshole?
My boyfriend of 7 years doesn't seem to be considering proposing anytime soon. Am I stupid to think that he ever will? I, 29 female, have been with my boyfriend, 29 male, for 7 years now. We have a lot in common. I love him, I love our life together, and I can't imagine sharing my life with anyone else. Up until now, I've not really been hinting, pushing, or mentioning engagement or anything like that too much, as we both don't have a lot of money and I never want it to be forced. We've been saving up for a deposit for buying a house together for the past couple of years, and I've told myself that that's a big commitment on his part. And I always had it in my mind that when the time comes and he's ready and wants to make the next step, he'd propose. But our recent anniversary made me realize that it's been a whole 7 years and he doesn't seem to even be thinking about proposing. And I started doubting that if he hasn't asked in that amount of time, if 7 years has not been enough for him to feel that he wants to spend the foreseeable future with me, then he never will. I asked him recently if marriage is something he wants in the future, and he said yes, but that was it. So I want to see what other people think about it. Am I wasting my time thinking he will commit to me one day and propose? Or is my gut feeling that if he hasn't by now, then he never will more accurate?
I didn't know I was the side chick till 5 months into my relationship with Henry. When I found out he had a wife and 2 kids, I tried to break things off with him, but somehow he was able to convince me to stay. He told me he would be leaving his wife soon for me, but 5 months turned to 1 year, and 1 year turned to 3 years. And at this point, I was madly in love with him, and I was so attached to him to the extent that I just couldn't let go. I just kept hoping he would leave his wife for me one day, but he just kept giving me one excuse after the other, till I just got used to the idea of being the side chick. I loved him, I couldn't leave him, and I knew he would never leave his wife for me. This went on for 5 years. It hurt so much being away from him, especially after a long day. I only see him 2 to 4 days a week, and I'm constantly afraid to say something and risk losing him. So I just moved with the flow, but then he changed all of a sudden. He hardly picked my calls anymore, and I only saw him once or twice a week. He got very distant, and I thought it might be because of his job, but then I started suspecting he might be seeing another woman. When I confronted him, he told me he was just busy, and that he loved me, and everything would go back to normal. But things just got worse. He stopped calling me altogether. It was as if he has forgotten about my existence, and then he stopped picking my calls. I will call him with a new number, and then he will apologize, and then give me an excuse and tell me he will come to see me. But he never came. Soon I realized he was done with me. I didn't mean anything to him, and he had no commitment to me. I had just wasted 5 years of my life for him, and he couldn't even break up with me in a proper way. At this point, I decided to forget about him forever. But I tried and tried, I just couldn't. It was all I could think about, and I wanted him back. So I went to see him at the office one day, and before I could enter into the building, I saw him entering into his car with a young girl. That was when it hit me. He didn't only toss me aside and forget about me, but he has also replaced me. I followed them to a restaurant and then to a hotel. It was very clear he was seeing another woman. I cried all the way home. I knew it was not mine to begin with, but at least I thought we had something going. How could he just toss me aside like that? No explanation, nothing. He just left me after 5 good years for another woman. I'm hurt and I'm angry and desperate. I want to hurt him and destroy his life. And the only way I can think of doing this is by telling his wife everything. It's clear he doesn't want to lose his wife, but something is just telling me to move on and walk away from everything. Should I tell his wife what has been going on, or should I just move on with my life?